Are we live? Guys, it's very random. It's very. I'm just watching this because I just like it, man. There's no point to explain.
Its eighth flyby in April of 2021, Parker Solar Probe finally entered the atmosphere of the sun.
It reminds me of 1969. Every time I see the movie when Neil Armstrong touches the surface of the moon.
Oh man, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm just gonna say that because I've always, questioned. I've always questioned this. Obviously, there are definitely there's sides that the sides of me that believe it's it was basically it was real, and then there's sides of me that, but it's because you watch stuff basically, right, and you start trying to piece stuff together. So I'm not completely sure, but I mean I'll never know. All I can do is believe what I see. That is a dangerous game. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It'll be nice to if it's like unequivocally true, but
that was monumental. In a way, it's a parallel to Parker Solar Probe when you fly through the solar corona for the very first time.
People probably are thinking, what the hell is Parker Solar Probe? It's pretty much like a satellite that they. So I'll just watch it. Before they're talking about Parker Solar Probe, they're talking about is it JWST? Dang, it was there somewhere. The something web. Damn, I forgot. But yeah, it was the JWST, James Webb Space. Is it James Webb Space Telescope? James Webb Space Telescope. For those that are nerds in this, I'm not a nerd. I'm just fascinated by this stuff. Why wouldn't you be? But yeah, so that's what they're pretty much. I think they're just talking about, the satellites that go into, into the into space, into our atmosphere, just to essentially find out what's going on in the I guess galaxy. Check out, yeah. Okay. Very fascinating.
Nobody has done that before. It was so exciting and also so humbling to have launched this mission, throw it basically toward the sun, and returns you some data that you never seen the like of it before. It's just eye-opening.
Nor are we.
These guys are, these guys are heroes. You know that. Like, these are like real life superheroes, bro. Like the stuff they're doing is like, you just dream of this stuff as a kid. Not that I was dreaming to be this, but if I could go back, oh my days, I would. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I've always been interested in space exploration. Always. It doesn't seem like a reality at all. But looking at it and just seeing the people that are in it, and I guess how they speak and stuff, you're like, bro, this is I don't know. It's like you're just seeing you in them. It's just, I just think this is stuff like, stuff that'll make your hair stand up. That's the type of stuff when I'm watching it. It's just.
Has been working on Parker Solar Probe for over 14 years.
Bro, think about it, yeah? 14. The JWST apparently got launched. Was it? I think no. They started working on the James Webb Space Telescope, right? They started working on it, guys, in 2004. What? In 2004, bro, I was not doing nothing. I was on these streets doing nonsense. That's how long they've been working on it. And then, not this one, not the Parker Solar Probe, the JWST. Rewind this, guys. Look, you see the title of the video, right? Google YouTube it and then go and watch it yourself, guys. It's 2004. They started building it. It went into space 2021. These guys have been working for long, and I've been there wasting my time. This is nonsense.
In case you were wondering if he still enjoyed it,
it's better by the day.
But the thing that's been exciting Noor more than anything before
is
the incredible discoveries coming from Parker Solar Probe.
The amount of discoveries, it's way beyond any of us could have imagined. It's just mind-boggling. We are discovering by the day new phenomena in the data that Parker Solar Probe is sending us. Well, the very first data we got from Parker Solar Probe, when we got this data from the fields instrument, we were looking at the magnetic field measurement.
I'm trying to not. It's hard to. You need, man. It's very important to get used to the camera. I'm trying to just. I don't want to. I'm trying to forget the cameras in front of me and just watch this properly. So I don't actually want to speak to you. You know.
And for maybe 15 minutes, we were thinking there is something wrong with the instrument, only to realize that no, the instrument is working perfectly, and actually what we are seeing is physics. It's physics that we have not seen before. And it is these switchbacks, basically the magnetic field will flip over itself, making a rotation of 180 degrees and out again. And it does that in a matter of seconds to minutes.
Oh,
And
you know what they said as well? They said that there was, there's a woman, I forgot her name, sorry, I'm not going to remember all of you. They built the Parker Solar Probe, right? She was like the engineer. She built it, and then the amount, if you know how close it gets to the sun, it's ridiculous. And they built it with like, you know, like some certain like padding or stuff they said you can find in like, I don't know, tennis rackets and so forth or whatever. The type of materials where they like use like heat rods on it, like just to test it to see how hot it was. And then so they were putting a heat rod on one side, right, heating it up like, and then they had the and then some next person was putting their hand on it. The thing was about this thick, had a hand on it, and they couldn't feel it. So they were testing it to see if it ever got as very close to the sun, how those materials will protect the satellite itself. You see how close this satellite was to the sun? Like, wow, how and humans made it, bro. Humans are brilliant, you know. Humans are brilliant. As much as I'm a pessimist, people know that. People that know me know that. Man, I call myself a realist, but you know, I guess pessimist. Cool, call me that. I don't mind. I can be a dickhead, bro. For the fact that human beings are making these type of things and then sending it out to space and then using it to explore like different solar system galaxies and so forth, us to be able to see, bro. The JWST was able to the image. Man, I wish I always watch this type of stuff, but I don't always put it live, you know, and just start recording it. I wish I did, because you just like to see that guys clear the imagery, how clear it was, how HD it was, how it was seeing like, you know, planets and solar systems and so forth within our galaxy, how clear that mirror was. It pretty much was a mirror, like a reflective mirror showing, bro, humans, bro, when we're on job, we are on job, like for real.
And
It's impressive.
it is just fascinating. What is really
get
important
emotional, bro.
about these switchbacks is that they carry a lot of energy with them. And that energy will dissipate it into the solar wind in the form of heat and speed. Two of the three goals of the mission is to explain the coronal heating and the acceleration of the solar wind. So the switchbacks could be the smoking gun that actually leads to give us the answer to those questions.
By understanding switchbacks, we could unlock the secrets of solar wind and how it's formed and accelerated towards Earth. Solar wind is not trivial. It reaches speeds of over 1 million miles per hour, traveling way beyond Pluto, and it affects our everyday lives. In 1989, a large solar flare caused the entire grid of Quebec, Canada to fail.
I was around then. Yes, guys. I was nothing. I was basically nothing. Golly, bro. They've been doing stuff for. It's just amazing to know that they've been doing these things for so many years, bro. And I didn't, and I've not known. These people are just, they're just literally setting trends. They are the reason why. Not even, I won't say they're the reason why obviously humanity is right now, but they're the reason why humanity is going to be able to survive because of the stuff they've built now. Those, God willing, the earth is still, you know, alive, and we are human beings, being parasites that we are. I told you, yeah, people call me pessimist. We don't destroy the world by then. 3,000 years from now, these people's like constructions would be known to have like what it would have done, contribute to mankind. I'm jealous because I've wasted my life. You know what? Let's just continue, bro. This
leaving them without power for over 12 hours.
Even if I
So think what it could do to a rocket or a satellite. And as well as solving mysteries, Parker Solar Probe is
If I
also
look, I don't care.
creating puzzles for Noah and his team to try and solve.
Parker Solar Probe, like any other missions, and answer questions, but by answering a question, it actually poses many more other questions. In a way, that's the essence of exploration. We come to this world as explorer, and we leave it as explorer.
Henri, who cares about? Is that Henri? Henri, do not care about you, bro. Henri, what you doing, bro?
Looking after the things I love is
as if you're as much important as the guy.
big
Like,
deal.
remove you.
even for a giant. That's why.
Behave yourself. YouTube, stop. I'm not paying.
On the eve of Christmas of 2020.
Nepa.
24, we will reach the closest approach to the sun ever. That will be 3.8 million miles from the solar surface. It's so close to it. And after that, we do two more.
Guys,
orbits,
look
and
at
that's
this. Look at the machine. Look at the apparatus that they've built. Look how small it is, bro. And you know, it's smaller than that. This is just you know, image generated. You know what I'm saying? They just generate it to make shut up. They generate it to make it look like it's smaller than that, by the way, because the sun is bruv. How many times the sun is bigger than the earth? This small satellite thing is small. Look how close it is, and it's not burning up. It's not. You think it'll just disintegrate like that? Just due to the heat wave alone. Let alone to walk on sun, bro. And they built this, the Parker Solar Probe. Thank you, man. Yo, I need to insert this into my life somehow. The Parker Solar Probe, PSP. Isn't that a game? You get PSP and the JWST. These things are letting us view worlds we've never seen in HD. Human beings, man. As much as I'd be dear, insulting us, not just us, because I'm a part of the disgracefulness. You are brilliant. The ones that are brilliant, I can't even imagine. I'm saying insulting us as if them ones are like me. This guy here that is talking is a different level type human being to me. This is a huge superhero. This guy is a superhero.
the end of the Prime mission.
But even after this mission ends, the discoveries made during this epic mission will live on forever in the science and in the scientists.
Bad man.
It is the highlight of my career, and it will be the highlight of my career.
Of your life.
Definitely being involved
Great.
in Parker Solar Probe, it's an honor.
We are really
I'm
rewriting
alert.
the textbooks
This
about
is the woman I'm talking about. This is the one that built the Parker Solar Probe and built that. Anyway,
the sun, and
Alright.
it's amazing to have played a small part in that.
YouTube this.
I am incredibly proud to have been part of the Parker Solar Probe mission.
Parker Solar Probe changed me forever. Parker Solar Probe is an enabler in many respects.
Getting emotional.
It
for them.
emboldened us now to go
They are
after very challenging ideas and concepts for future missions. So we are not stopping here.
guys, that's probably how small it is. You don't see it, but
Right
the way
now, the two Voyager spacecrafts are hurtling through interstellar space at 35,000 miles an hour.
if you've watched Interstellar as a movie, you are genius. Sorry. If you watch Interstellar, oh Lord. Shout out to my boy that put me on Interstellar. He told me for years. He was like, watch. He knows the type of stuff I like. But I thought just fully I didn't even know what. Anyway, just watch Interstellar. The fact that you guys mentioned it made me wanted to say about Interstellar as a movie. Goodness gracious, guy.
Now, the space is so far away that it took 35 years to get there.
Imagine this thing is what? Me and this thing are brethrens. 35 years, bro.
And now we need new science to understand it.
I couldn't believe how nature was.
It makes you. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep topping it. It makes you just wonder because I believe in the higher power. It makes you wonder just how. When a human was saying stuff like, "Oh God, you know, God is asking God for stuff as if God is to serve you," bro. These things. Oh, we need to serve God. We need to. And Lati, stop the nonsense and start serving. Look what it, because I don't see it as, look what it created. God, you're all powerful. look at this. And I believe that my creator created this. And if my creator created this, me, I don't want to take anybody else because I like to talk about other people, which is not nice. Me, I am an insignificant speck of dust of craps. Me, I don't know about you. You're special. Me though, I'm a waste man. I'm not even. No, you gotta think about it, right? Look how. Speak for myself, right? I'm thinking, I'm this, I'm important. Yeah, I want to do stuff. I want to achieve nonsense. When you look at, I don't know, like picture, like put me, not even obviously put me in line, but like compare me to Venus, a planet. What is I? I'm not even this. I'm close. I'm this. I'm nothing. And then Venus is that. And then I'm thinking that God is, oh yeah, God is just, God, come on, give me. God, you know what? Just chill. I need to serve you, bro. Master. Because this is what I'm seeing. This is why I love watching space stuff. It really humbles us. Everybody should. This is madnesses. And then come to think of it, the stuff that we are finding is people like me that are doing it, sending, and then it means that in me, is there's dust in there. Because it's come there. Come on, buy. Because bro, what these people are doing compared to what I'm doing. I'm here watching, talking about it on YouTube.
Fooling us.
It made us rethink everything we knew about the shape of our solar system.
I think I discovered
something that I found. I know. I'm annoying. Sedna is the furthest planet from our sun. Sedna. Go check it out. Is it Sedna? Yes, it is Sedna. Try to trick me. Sedna. It's no longer. I no longer know it as Mvemshnup. It's Mvemshnus. That's how I always remember that it's Sedna, because I'm like Mvemshnus. Because Pluto, unfortunately, was in 2015. It was rendered no longer a planet because I'm talking like I know my stuff. I don't know anything. I'm stupid. Remember Pangolo?
that the tail has a co-sun shape.
And even where the edge of our solar system actually is.
There was a lot of confusion. Actually, the confusion lasted almost a year.
Even just to understand what Voyager is trying to say requires a very special set of skills.
It's really like a Swiss watchmaker. It needs to be a trained eye to tell me, can I trust this data or not?
What's even more extraordinary is how Voyager, the old spacecraft from 1977 with 64 kilobytes of memory, was able to make this journey at all.
3, 2, 1. We have ignition and we have liftoff.
Both Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were launched in 1977, and it had to be them, thanks to an extremely rare planetary alignment that happens once every 175 years.
Where we could fly past Jupiter,
I'm a waste
get
man.
a gravity kick and go to Saturn, get a gravity kick and get to Uranus, and another gravity kick and go past Neptune.
In just 2 years, Voyager 1 had reached Jupiter.
Thank you for your service.
Voyager showed
Thank
us
you
a
for your
planet
service.
which looks so
We
serene to
just
the
like me.
telescope.
Thank you.
It was actually rocked
Did
by
something
hundreds
important
of
in
radiant
life.
hurricanes, a glowing aurora at the North Pole, and 3 thin rings. Voyager took 33,000 images of Jupiter and its major moons that captured the world.
And we'd get to see these pictures and go, whoa, look at that, what's this, what's going on? It was fantastic.
I picked the wrong career.
On a night like
I
tonight,
decided to be a professional.
our eyes,
waste
our
man.
minds, our
Should've
souls,
went into-
our blood are moving out through the universe. We're part of
The
history.
wrong career. Why would you sign up to be a professional bastard? Why wouldn't you do something with your life? Now look at you. You're on some video creator service platform thing, talking about it. Huh? Outside the club, you can't even get in.
And that means that we have to replace the old myths with
I
new ones.
know urban references, because why? I hear Mr. Barry. Yo, Apple. Nobody cares, man. I mean, yeah, you done mean stuff as well. Nobody cares, though, man.
As you may have heard, this year there are
Black man, stop talking, please. Remove yourself from the screen. Thank you.
Just 1 year later, and Voyager 1 had already sped past Saturn, spying intricate details in the planet's rings. From Earth, scientists could only see 5 or 6 of Saturn's rings. Voyager showed us that there were more than 100.
And I can remember those first pictures as we flew away, looking back at that system and seeing the reflected sunlight in that structured ring system was just so beautiful.
Then the Voyagers parted ways. Voyager 1 headed straight for the edge of our solar system. Voyager 2 took a more scenic route, reaching Uranus in 1986.
Just say Uranus, man.
And eventually
It's all right,
Neptune in 1989, showing us yet more outstanding views of the green and blue.
These are my brethren.
And spotted
86, 89. These are my
the
brethren, you know.
large moon, Triton. And that was the
These are
main
my
mission,
schoolmates.
the first human-made object to reach the distant worlds of our solar system.
But
the Voyagers weren't done yet. They were about to embark on the journey to search for the edge of our solar system. And before they left, there was one last thing to do.
God, you are great.
Carl Sagan convinced NASA to turn the cameras
Professor Mira
towards
Cooper.
Earth and take that very
For your
famous
service.
picture, the pale blue dot.
On that blue dot, that's where everyone you know and everyone you ever heard of and every human being who ever lived out their lives. It's a very small stage in a great cosmic arena.
These images were the last of
Yeah.
67,000 images taken by the 2 Voyager spacecrafts. Their cameras were then turned off to save power as they carried on their journey towards interstellar space, the boundary where our sun's solar wind ends and the rest of our universe begins. Problem was, nobody actually knew where it really was. Scientists thought that sooner or later, the charged particles that create solar wind were going to run out, and Voyager would enter a pristine environment of interstellar space.
We thought that would happen. Oh, maybe just beyond Neptune. But no, that didn't happen. Well, we said to NASA, give us a bit more money, another 5 years. Well, this kept happening year after.
I will empty my bank account right now for you guys if you need it. If you need it, research will I will empty everything. I will empty my bank account. I'll empty my bathtub. So you can keep doing your thing.
Yeah. NASA, please give us a little bit more money. A little bit
NASA, come to Saint.
longer. We'll be there.
As Voyagers 1 and 2 reaches of the solar system, they remarkably continued to send very faint signals back to Earth.
And this is what makes it so interesting and so fragile. The whole instrumentation of Voyager was designed to visit the outer planets that have very strong magnetic fields. So now you're dealing with a signal that is almost at the noise of the instrument. And because Voyager was not designed for that, it's a miracle fit that all this team is able to go mine the data and pull out the signal and tell us what's going on.
Just 5 instruments were still operating on the spacecraft. And in 2012, more than 35 years since Voyager 1 left Earth, scientists started to see the first signs that they were crossing into interstellar space through the boundary known as the heliopause.
Think about the heliopause as your walls of your house. This is what separates the environment that is dominated by the solar wind from environment that is dominated from other winds from other stars outside of our bubble, the heliosphere.
The expectation was that there would be a sudden shock, a burst of activity that would make it obvious we'd finally reached this sharp boundary. But the reality was much stranger. All of the detectors on Voyager were seeing particles suddenly appear and then disappear, then appear and then disappear, and nobody had a clue why. These strange particles seemed to be coming from elsewhere in the galaxy.
Did we cross or not? The data was so confusing.
On one hand, Voyager was still being affected by the sun's magnetic field, but the particles were suggesting we had crossed.
It turns out what really tipped the scale in the team was the radio data.
The data was stored on the spacecraft using a tape recorder. So ancient technology, it's extraordinary. But it worked. And the data were gathered and sent back bit by bit.
And 6 months later, we turned to the radio station of Voyager, and guess what we heard?
These plasma waves, converted into sound that we can hear, were the final proof that we had crossed the boundary into interstellar space.
The first human-made object to venture into interstellar space.
Even more extraordinary than crossing the boundary into interstellar space was what the data said about the shape of the solar system.
I was tasked to create a computer model with all the physics that we know to kind of predict this shape of the heliosphere.
It turned out that the solar system's heliosphere is not round like you'd think. It has a tail from whizzing around the galaxy. And more than that,
I was finding that has a croissant shape, 2 horns with a void in the middle.
That's like an embryo.
It was just a shock to realize that something such basic as the shape of our home is completely different.
And all of this was discovered by a small, extremely low-tech probe more than 10 billion miles away. And they're still going.
It's madness.
In 2018, NASA's Voyager 2 spacecraft crossed the boundary. Finally, both Voyager spacecrafts, with their 1970s technology, had reached where no human-made object had ever been before: interstellar space.
So there's very little material, very empty. Space can be very, very empty.
The environment out there is colder and denser. And of course, it's dark. There's not a lot of light. You're far away from the sun.
This is crazy, bro.
I don't mind if I took your picture.
You're originals, bro. You're not even original. You're stealing stuff.
We don't send women
It is king. I'm not stupid, am I?
into combat.
Well, that's a problem.
Stop interrupting.
Voyager has also discovered that our solar system's impact is much bigger than we thought before.
We would have liked to get to a region where the heliosphere doesn't influence anymore the interstellar medium, what we call a pristine interstellar medium. What we're measuring now is a medium highly disturbed by the sun.
The Voyagers are still sending us ever fainter signals, still teaching us new things
But
about
to this
interstellar
day.
space, but they're running out of time.
We probably have 2, 3, maybe 4 more years of power to communicate with Voyager.
But there are still so many mysteries left to be solved.
What is the environment outside? What's happening, the nearby stars that are influencing our system and so on?
So one of the beauties of the Voyager mission, that it started as a planetary mission, gave us the first images of our planets, discover volcanoes in the solar system, and then it went to discover our heliosphere, our vast, regions of our solar system.
So when they say interstellar, does that mean because it's crossing what our what we call it, our borders of our solar system? Because I'm confused when they say interstellar space. I don't know enough. I'm stupid.
And enter into the galaxy.
Long after their power has gone, the Voyagers will continue to rush away from us, monuments to human endeavor and exploration, heading out towards the stars.
Voyager will continue its little journey in the interstellar space, way past when we maybe as a species will cease to exist, when we might move to a different planet.
It'll keep going.
What?
And going.
Yo.
And going. And going.
Hair
and going.
standing up.
Forever.
Hair standing up. Bro. I got chills, bro. It's crazy, bro.
We're used to seeing NASA fire up its rockets and launch billions of dollars of equipment into space. But what happens when it messes up?
The Hubble Space Telescope project has suffered yet another setback.
And how do you fix a $1 billion mistake up in space?
I did not have a line item that says NASA put wrong here in telescope.
With engineers needing to fix it not once, but twice.
So the summer 2021 event was a pretty intense anomaly.
This is the story of how the Hubble Space Telescope nearly destroyed NASA's reputation, and the retired engineer that helped bring the telescope back from the brink both times.
When I received the call, I was honored that they would think of me to try and help them resolve this.
Ron?
This is electrical engineer Ron Barish.
Thank you for your service,
I
Ron.
started working on Hubble in 1987, approximately 2 years before launch.
Hubble was one of the
Guy's
most
career.
ambitious space projects.
Me and this guy's career are brethren. We went to the same school. Me and his career. These guys are influential dudes, bro. And I don't know them. But I know Michael Jordan, though.
The world had ever seen. NASA had spent hundreds of millions designing a massive mirror in the telescope to get the sharpest pictures of the universe ever seen. Expectations were high. It promised to catapult space science into a radical new era, and all eyes were on it.
Shout out to my
And
boy
the
Ron.
liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery
Ron is
with
that
the
guy.
Hubble Space Telescope.
Ron
a
had to
window on the universe.
Hubble was
very
bubbling.
exciting to
Hubble bubble.
to watch the launch.
Ron brought it back. He said, "Come back. You're acting out. You're going wild. You're losing it. Come back."
When it was turned on in orbit.
From
very
retirement.
exciting.
They brought back from
NASA was quick to champion it as the great.
Jordan is back from retirement. Ron is back from retirement.
Greatest advance in astronomy
no,
since
man.
Galileo. But then disaster struck.
The Hubble Space Telescope project has suffered yet another setback.
Go Ron.
Engineers have discovered that the giant telescope.
Ronnie, my boy, Hubble is hobbling. He doesn't want to listen. I need you to come quick, sharp. I need you to come out of retirement, get out of your bathroom, and come and talk to this Hubble bubble. Because if it doesn't fix up now, me, I need to have to rumble. Run, please, run here and do it, bro. And then he came, and then no, thank you. I didn't even realize. Instead, me and his career was in school, chapsing girls.
Has a warped mirror, which means the images sent back to NASA are distorted. The pictures are little better than those from ground-based telescopes.
We found out that there was distortion in the image. Well, the images I saw were blurry. They called it spherical aberration.
When light enters the telescope, it's reflected first by a large 8-foot mirror onto a smaller secondary mirror, which concentrates the light onto the cameras. If either mirror is slightly out of true, the picture becomes distorted.
It's kind of like how a lens works. Am I wrong? I don't know, guys. So I like, I've been filming for a long time. I'm still useless though, very stupid. But how lens. Don't worry about it.
And that's exactly what had happened. The mirror hadn't been tested with the rest of Hubble. Had it been tested, the scientists will have seen that the mirror was ground incorrectly by just 1/50th of a human hair. Tiny. Enough to ruin everything.
Everyone on the project was.
It sounds like if you do development stuff, like I'm not a developer, I'm very stupid. But when I'm trying, guys, just know that one dot out of place can just ruin a, I don't know, if you're building, I don't know if it could be a function or whatever. Or let's just say, even just a page in the wrong, one dot in the wrong place. That's what made me think of when it said that a speck of hair is what caused it to start acting out like a emotional. I'm not gonna go there because that's not his channel.
Very disappointed, and it was an embarrassment that we had spent so much time on the program.
Don't be embarrassed.
And that there was a significant flaw. The news was not very kind to the project.
For the American taxpayer, they're not going to be happy.
Well, look, you launched this $2 billion.
Chill, Americans. I'm not talking about you. Me. I'm the taxpayer, right? Don't listen to me. I'm angry for what? What have I achieved? Ron, embarrassed for what? Never. You're a G, bro. Don't do that again, please. Don't.
$1 billion white elephant. What are you going to do?
And the bad news kept coming as NASA's reputation
Bless you,
received
Ron.
blow after blow after blow.
We need to take blow after blow after blow for all the failures we've had in our lives. Let Ron talk. What are you doing? Why are you
But
putting on
despite
me?
the setback,
You want to silence my boy Ron. YouTube, you're on the silencing game again. You can't silence Ron, bro. No. Bruv, you want problems. Why is he on mute? What's this? Why my bro not trying to take a piss? Don't do it again. And see if I don't throw my computer outside the window.
but despite the setback, there were still some that had hope for Hubble.
So do not write off the Hubble telescope. It merely means it's not going to be quite so good as expected until the repairs are carried out.
Replacing the mirror wasn't practical. So instead, Ron and the rest of the team created an instrument called CoStar, which would act almost like a pair of glasses. redirecting the light to account for the flaw in the mirror.
My job was to provide an electronics interface box called the Remote Interface Unit, CoStar.
3 years after Hubble's embarrassing start, they finally had the parts needed to fix the broken Hubble Space Telescope. All that was needed now was a team of astronauts bold enough and daring enough to attempt a mission of this magnitude.
There weren't very many of us in the office at that time who had done spacewalks, and so that's how I got kind of a quick turnaround from one flight to the next.
You know, in all the fares, the hundreds and hundreds of fares I came up with that I had to accommodate, I did not have a line item that says NASA put wrong mirror in telescope.
Catherine Thornton and Story Musgrave were two of the astronauts that were selected for the mission. And in 1993, they set off. The world held its breath as the astronauts carried out 5 back-to-back spacewalks in an attempt to bring Hubble back from the brink.
The first spacewalk on Hubble, did the dance. When the music starts, what you gonna do? Well, you got a power tool and you unbolt the thing, you undo the connection, zip, zip, stick it in the box, hang it over there, get the new one out, slide the new one in. It's fingertips, baby, fingertips.
That's what's so awesome about Hubble. It's almost like plug and play. We installed CoStar. We installed a coprocessor on the computer to give it more memory, added a new magnetometer, and other cats and dogs, as we called it.
Grammarly now uses AI to help you write, not just revise. Type a prompt and generate a.
Nobody cares about Grammarly.
It is easy. You've got to make it easy.
Around the world, astronomers
It's not
anxiously
easy, bro.
awaited.
Don't downplay it. It's not easy, bro. Then if it's easy, why am I not there? If it's easy, why am I 2,000 feet away from it fixing it? It's not easy. Stop. Just don't like. I understand you wanna, you know what I mean? It needs a big dream big, but we can't be lying to you just useless human beings. I'm not talking about, bro.
The first pictures from Hubble's new camera. On the 18th of December, 1993, the results came in.
Hey!
Right there. I'm not.
When an image hit the monitor, the whole room, everyone screamed. It just got it fixed.
Okay. That is better than any deconvolution you've ever seen.
Yeah, hero. Yeah, hero.
I think you got it. Yep. Yep. Sir. One room. It can be a little premature, but I'll shake your hand.
Room, bro.
When the images first came back and I saw them, made me feel proud that I was part of that mission.
Thank you for the service. Ron.
That we had
Ron.
brought the telescope back to what it was
Ron.
supposed to be. As a matter of fact, my understanding is the images were clearer than what they
because of
had
your
ever
actions.
expected.
Your children
To the relief of Ron, NASA, and the entire world, Hubble was finally fixed, and it immediately began to deliver on its original promise,
Always have.
allowing
Never-
us to see
never
the universe in ways we could
always have.
previously only dream about.
Your actions, Ron.
Hubble was only
You-
supposed to last 15
Ask
years.
me, don't ask us for
Instead,
anything,
it continued to
Don't
make
be embarrassed
groundbreaking
because of
discoveries
Hubble
for more than
bubble.
30.
You went into
But then in 2021,
you had to fix that.
suddenly shut down.
What? Sorry.
And the team
Sorry.
won.
I was there talking. That is my job, to just talk.
Instead, it continued to make groundbreaking discoveries for more than 30. But then in 2021, it suddenly shut down.
Oh, that's fine. It's done well.
And the team at NASA once again had to fight for Hubble's survival.
So the summer 2021 event was a pretty intense
Thank you for your
anomaly,
service.
probably one of the more
Thank you for your
dramatic ones that we've had.
Nzinga Toll is the anomaly response manager for Hubble, and it was her job to figure out why Hubble's computer had shut down and ultimately find a way to get it back up and running. But that was far easier said than done. So Nzinga had to think outside the box.
After the first few days, and it wasn't immediately apparent that we could get a path forward to resume science, we knew we'd have to pull in a lot more folks.
With Hubble still showing no signs of life, Nzinga knew she needed some very niche
service.
expertise to try and help.
Thank you
fix
for your
Hubble.
service, Nzinga.
So she called upon Hubble's original architects to come back and get stuck
Miss
in.
or Mrs.
When I received the call, I was honored that they would think of me to try and help them resolve this.
They need you.
Anytime you work on a
Run, my
system
guy.
like
Go on, man.
this, it's part of you. It's if there's ever a problem with a spacecraft in orbit, everyone jumps in and works on it,
Ron, we
even
need
if
you.
you're
Stop,
retired.
Ron, man.
A lot of people were concerned that we would not be able to fix the Hubble. It was very stressful. The last thing I wanted was to have the system that I spent 18 years of my life
Ron,
on.
I believe in
be
you, man.
the cause of the
I
end
knew
of
you
the
would do it. You
mission.
got this. What are you talking about? This is easy
So,
for you, bro.
I was under a lot of stress.
But undeterred by the challenge, the team set to work to identify what went wrong and get Hubble back online.
Oh, sorry.
The telescope was down for approximately 4 weeks.
I think the first couple of weeks was probably the most frustrating and the most anxiety producing.
We put together what's known as a fishbone diagram. Everything that could possibly cause the problem was written down, and we eliminated them one by one until we zeroed in on the exact cause. It was amazing how everything came back to me.
On July 15th, Nzinga and her team successfully powered up the backup computer on board Hubble. And over the next few days, the team gradually brought the science instruments back online.
Once we realized that we had solved the problem and the telescope was back up and running, it was quite a relief.
Mainly relief. Mainly a lot of relief.
How did it feel compared to 93?
In my case, it was even better. This was my system that had stopped, that had halted the telescope, and to be able to get it back up and running was very proud. I was very proud when, after the first servicing mission, that we got the telescope up and running, but this was more personal. If another problem comes up, I'd be very proud to work on this.
Ron, I speak for each and every idiot of one of us. We are proud. We're not only proud, we are honored. We are lucky, fortunate to have someone like you to be our representative, Hubble Bubble representative, to be fixing stuff, to make sure that we're able to dream. You're giving us the ability to dream. Ron, I speak for every people are gonna again look. Okay, I'll speak for myself then, because everyone else are amazing. I speak for the idiots sitting here. I didn't know you existed. I didn't know the work you put in. Ron, I thank you so much, man. Thank you for your service. And Nzinga as well. Thank you so much. You guys
with this team again to resolve any future
amazing, bro.
issues.
Like, look what they do. Like,
It would be an
look, think about it, right? The work they've done is the information that I know about, you know, our planets, or the planets in our solar system, our galaxy, and so forth. The reason why I know certain stuff, is because of these guys. Somebody found that said someone used a telescope like this, or some sort of, I don't know, instruments to find that Sedna existed. I can now be here trying to sound smart to you. Oh, the furthest planet from our sun is Sedna. Like as if I'll ever know that if no one didn't find it out for me. These guys are geniuses. They're superheroes. We need to remove, what is the guy, Kobe Kiniko from Spider-Man, and replace him with Ron.
an honor and a privilege for me to be called back to support Hubble at any point in time.
Be honored.
I will always be a Hubble hugger.
I want to hug you. Hi, I want to thank you.
You waited years for this.
This was almost the perfect day.
What happened?
Rosetta was and is.
Rosetta Stone is out here as well doing work.
It's a travel, not
In
just in
space.
space, it's also a travel back in time to the very early days of the solar system.
This is the story of the epic, ambitious mission to land a spacecraft on a comet hurtling through space.
What? How?
Nothing like it had ever been attempted before.
Of course not.
Or since.
Rosetta completely transformed our view of comets.
It was a mission 25 years in the making that all came down to a few frantic hours.
Another genius we know nothing about.
Philae was not
just doing amazing stuff and disappearing into the ether. Rosetta, thank you for your
But let's
service.
go back a bit to 2004.
What's that? 2004 again. I was young sister, running around thinking I was something. Bro, Rosetta.
This is new.
The comet hurtling into it. So they rock what this rock. They are dead. They're doing genius stuff. So somehow eat it in the speed that it is, and then somehow land on it and start collecting information.
A squeeze of this, sprinkles of that on a
the only
skewer.
genius that I know of is Cristiano Ronaldo.
This British lamb has all the
Ronaldo
goodness of that,
is the one I know that's a genius.
and is a natural
You see how
source of
foolish
this.
I am. How idiotic I am.
The Rosetta spacecraft, with its little
Ronaldo
Philae
has
tucked away inside,
62 billion trillions of followers following his
À l'image de AP, décollage.
no, he's inconsistent. Sorry. He is inconsistent.
Well, the actual launch took
Following
place
his
on
career.
the 2nd of
Rosetta
March
is
in
dear.
2004.
Just
the first
you
part of
know,
the mission was just to catch up with the
nonchalantly
mysterious
landing
comet, known as
landing
67P.
creations on flying saucers.
That
in
took
space.
10 years.
And nobody knows. I've never
During which
heard
time,
of it.
everything on board Rosetta was powered down.
God shall bless your
Only to be
children
woken
because
up
of your actions.
as it neared the
Children will
planet.
never want.
It was quite a nervous
Rosetta.
time when Rosetta was coming out.
Your
of
children will
hibernation.
never want.
Because if it didn't wake up,
Anything your children want, they're going to get because of your
Billion
actions. You.
euros of kit out in space.
children will be
and,
blessed
if
forever.
it didn't call home at the expected time, there was very little that could be done about it.
Mother Nature knows.
It got
Mother
this
Nature's watching.
signal,
It's
wake
still
up
there, Mother Nature's
Rosetta,
watching.
and it's just like, hasn't woken up. All right, send the signal again. Switch it off and switch it on again. Ta-da! It's woken up, which was
Just
just
switch it off.
so much of a relief.
Switch on and switch it off. That is what fixes it.
When Rosetta woke
Be
up,
modest, by the way.
that was really the point where everybody got excited again. We had no idea how the comet would look like.
We don't know what shape it is. It's probably spherical-ish.
We didn't immediately
Oh,
see
look how
the
excited she's like. She's so
quality
she's so
images.
giddy,
We saw
so
better and
so giddy
better
talking about it.
ones. The closer and
So
closer Rosetta came.
2014, I was an idiot.
Wow. What shape is that?
The shape is not.
Be careful,
the
Rosetta.
shape as we
This is
expected,
YouTube.
not
They like to
roundish.
ban people for no reason.
The comet
Watch
has
your
this kind of
language.
rubber duck shape.
It's like one of those yellow
Watch
plastic
your
ducks.
And that made
language.
Hurdle 2 that extra bit harder, landing Philae safely on top of it.
She
There
landed
was no area
filet
of the
mignon
comet
on the
which
plate.
is nice and
Filet
smooth
mignon.
as we have
Padam
hoped
on the
for.
plate
The
like that.
terrain was rough everywhere, so there was a risk, but that also made it
It
fascinating
looks like a tumor.
and interesting.
Philae was equipped with little harpoons to fire off to help it cling to the comet once it made contact. And the landing site had to be meticulously chosen to allow Philae to recharge its solar batteries in the glow of the sun. The stakes were huge.
It's like solar panels.
This was a lifetime's work for most of the scientists on the Rosetta mission. The team already knew there may be a problem with the thrusters that were supposed to slow down Philae's approach, but the time had come to deploy Philae. And on the 12th of November 2014, off it went.
One could see the Philae lander as it moves away from the main spacecraft, getting smaller and smaller with the landing gear successfully deployed. I found this already very emotional to see the baby go after 10 years attached to the spacecraft. You now see it in freedom.
Now has to
on
be a
its
grown up.
way the last 22
Put on your big boy
kilometers,
pants
to the
and go into
surface of the
space.
comet.
Go
And
into
that
the
Philae was free
go into
falling
just black
for almost
dark
exactly
matter
7
by
hours
yourself
to the
and become an
surface of the
adult.
comet.
Everybody
That is what
was
Philae done.
jittery and just waiting and waiting and waiting for
Philae,
for
you
the
non-human.
signal to
You
say
non-human.
it's landed.
Thank
And
you for your
then-
service.
I just went absolutely. Hey, it's landed! It's landed! I'm so excited! It's landed! It's landed!
Wait. Rosetta. Yeah. Okay. That is what
it
you
was
are.
just the
You are a
tension that had
shining
wound
star.
up, and the release of
can
that
make
tension and the release.
Philae just blind.
Years for this.
Would make it better for
So exciting!
you, man.
I'm sorry. It's
No, no,
fantastic.
And of course, everywhere.
I'm
in
getting
the world,
emotional,
in
but I
the
can't.
control rooms,
I
and
have to
scientific
keep up the
people started
manliness
to
and the
open
masculinity
champagne and
on
started to
YouTube.
celebrate.
It landed. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. Everybody was really, really, really happy.
In the control room, we thought, yeah, great, we are landed. We have to touch.
I just say, you know what? I was alive, but I was an idiot. So I would not have been happy. In fact, that time, 2014, I was probably here doing idiotic stuff. Instead of me to be seeing what you are doing and being happy at the time, I was probably giving attitude to somebody on the streets of London. Now look at my life.
Down signal.
But the mood in the control room was suddenly very different.
Wow.
Something wasn't quite right.
Hey.
Within a few
Shaggy.
minutes, we realized that although we have landed and although we still got radio contact, which was positive, we did not anchor.
You broke your
and
back.
The lander was moving again.
I know.
And then the principal investigators came out of their little cocoon.
Broke your back,
and
right?
Came up to me and he gave me a big hug.
I
gave him
know.
a big hug. And I said, "Oh, you know, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's really great. You know,
Yeah, no.
so proud and pleased."
Yeah,
And he said,
no,
it's not wrong. It bounced. We don't know where it is. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, it hasn't been announced yet, but it will be announced in a minute that actually Philae did land, but the harpoon didn't anchor it, and the little crampons on the legs couldn't get a grip, and so it's bounced."
And we had no idea
because it's a bouncing baby boy
going on, where we would jump and how we would land and when we would land.
Oh dear.
So why did
Philae had crashed off the face of the comet and bounced about 1 kilometer back into space.
Oh.
Any further, and it risked escaping the comet's weak gravitational pull and drifting off into space forever.
Weak gravitational
Anxiously,
pull.
They waited.
We had no idea whether this would be a successful mission or would be.
Don't worry,
just a
you guys got
touch
this.
and
I
we
believe
would
you, man. Listen, I believe in
never
you.
again hear
I
from
have
the
to.
lander.
You
And
guys are
then
geniuses.
The news came in.
So
Came
we
back.
did land somewhere, and we still had radio contact. We still received signals, and this was the moment of great relief because that was the moment
We
where
could
we
be
knew we are at the
heroes.
surface and we can still communicate.
We
with the
could be heroes.
But the good news didn't
sorry.
last long.
You guys
It
are
landed in the shade.
heroes.
Not great for something reliant on solar power.
Oh, wow.
This meant they had less than 72 hours of battery time to undertake months' worth of scientific collection. The clock was ticking.
Dang.
So it's one of those things. It's like, okay, let's just throw away 10 years worth of calculations and let's just redo them all over the space of 5 hours, which is what they did.
We also optimized the sequence in a way to get the maximum science out of the energy available.
Once they knew they'd only got 70 hours
That's mad.
and it was just going to seep away,
That's mad.
it's like it wasn't if you turned all the instruments off, the battery would stay at that particular level. No, because
God,
it was
please.
so cold.
God, intervene.
It was having to maintain, it was having to keep heaters on
Just
as
right.
well, you know, to make sure that the
Oh,
instruments
no,
kept
God.
working. So you just knew you got 70 hours full stop. All right. So you worked for 70 hours. You just did it. You just barreled through, get as much data as we can.
And amazingly, almost all of the instruments on Philae had survived the impact. It was go time.
We were very lucky. I mean, we ended up in an orientation that the antennae were pointing, well, upward, so to say, that we could establish a radio link with the main spacecraft. And again, we were also lucky because we could switch on the instruments. We could do fantastic science from the surface of the comet.
About 80% of the science goals of the Philae lander were achieved. So it was an absolute fantastic success. You know, the fact it crash landed, got around that. It was an amazing success.
This was, of course, a bit sad to see the voltage of the battery drop and knowing that Philae will go into a hibernation.
And eventually,
But
that's
once-
what happened. But even in those few hours, Philae had unveiled a world full of surprises.
But once the
of dust and debris.
I mean, the comet is probably
Gases
the comet's probably
erupted
still
from
moving,
deep
right?
within the
Wouldn't it if it was able to turn into the sun?
Even the
or
crash
would be able to
landing threw
start
up interesting
generating
discoveries.
Even by
power,
analyzing
or,
the bounce
consuming
itself,
the sun's
we got information on what's
consume the
the
sun's
surface
energy
made
and
of.
get back into
And
is
it
that
was
how
a
it
bit
works?
surprising that
I don't know.
the surface was rather hard.
But perhaps most exciting of all was what this comet was able to teach us about us.
The Rosetta mission
That we are that what
had
I
as
am
one of its goals to understand the building blocks of
DNA.
life.
Because Comet 67P was
Is it
rich in
human?
organic compounds
It's a
like
human being.
phosphorus, carbon, oxygen,
Sorry.
nitrogen, and the amino acid glycine, all essential for the origins of life, and offering tantalizing clues
Amino
as to
acid.
how these
All of
compounds
the
may have
body.
arrived on Earth in the first place.
Whatever that guy said in Matrix.
So the original building blocks of life came from comets.
Came from you sure?
While Philae had gone into eternal
yeah,
hibernation,
I agree.
the mothership Rosetta continued to fly around the comet, collecting data for 2 more years. But then, Rosetta's time had to come.
Died. Oh, I thought it was part of the thing, you know that with the fire came. I don't know Rosetta, but I know Nelly. Look yourself.
I'm heading to the front. Ready to go?
Come on! I stay away from that window. They got snipers.
Am I wrong? It is, right? Right? With the is it
in the last ditch
with
effort to get as much out of the
JP
mission as
Morgan's,
possible,
right?
the team decided to
I'm a
crash
conspiracy
land
theorist,
Rosetta
guys.
into the comet, collecting data along the way and allowing the scientists to get one last look at their old friend Philae.
Took this sort of shallow
Well, it is.
dive onto the surface of the comet.
Look,
and
bro.
then sort of crash landed, and its camera was going.
I
the whole
guarantee you,
time.
yeah.
So we saw these last pictures of the surface rushing up to greet Rosetta, and then the signal died, and you got this little sort of oscilloscope thing with nothing on it. Just like, like somebody when they die, you see
I know.
the signal die on the heart thing. And it was just like, it was so devastating. People were in tears. I cried. And it's just, hell's teeth. It's a robot.
I
but
cry.
it's been part of your life for so long and so
When you
important.
cry,
So that was
I
it. That was the end of the
cry.
Rosetta mission.
There is still
We
many
cry
publications done
together.
using the data from Rosetta. That's still the most relevant
Hug him now, hug him.
Scientific information we have from a comet.
Rosetta completely transformed our view of comets.
To some extent, what we know about the evolution of the solar system, what we believe about the formation of life, all of this is triggered by Rosetta. And this is not often in lifetime you get a chance to get involved in such a project.
Philae, thank you for doing Rosetta. Thank you for. Oh, is that over? Damn. I'm gonna do this again. I really enjoyed this. I didn't even realize it was over. I didn't know how long. How long has it been? What's the time right now? Dang, 57 minutes. It's an hour. Yes. Sorry, guys. That was very just random. I don't know if I'm gonna post this. I might post it. I might take it down, but I don't know. I really actually enjoyed this. I probably should have just created another channel to do this, but I just couldn't be bothered. I wanted to just to actually get because I was really just getting into it as well. But this is really cool, man. I like watching stuff like this, man. Just like beginnings of the Earth and what they believed the beginnings of the Earth were. The Big Bang Theory. It wasn't God. No, it wasn't. Don't worry. And then just like space exploration, space exploration always makes me just really remember that the God I serve is almighty, like all, omnipotent and all that omni. Yeah. To see, it's like, how was this created? How was this stuff that's created? Why is it that I get to live a full lifetime and no asteroid comes, or asteroids, not just one, asteroids? There's so many of them just shooting past. Some of them will be like, oh yes, hurtling towards Earth, and it should be able to get to us in the next 50 million years. So I would definitely be nothing. I wouldn't be remembered, because the gravity of, when you look at the gravity of like life, Like you're nothing. You know what I mean? I don't want it to make it seem as though I'm just getting this revelation now. I've always thought this. You know, but when you're growing up, you're just trying to just chase the, I don't know, being someone. You want to be someone and become something and then create stuff. But then you get to a certain stage, you're like, bruh, it doesn't matter what I create, I would have been a failure. Just being able to see this type of thing and just know that they exist and it's real. And like the more, like I said, me finding out Pluto was no longer part of our solar system was crazy. I'm like, what? How does that make sense? But that just tells you how long I've been looking. I've always been interested in space exploration. Like I knew about that some time ago now. I forgot. I don't remember that, but I've always looked into it. I've never. I always just watch this randomly, but I think it's a good idea maybe to start, you know, watching them like this. Just put it on YouTube. You know, everyone else is doing content. I don't know. Yeah. So let me turn it off now because I don't want it to, because I'm just dragging it for no reason. Guys, thank you so much. Next one, I'm gonna watch another thing. I'll see what's more interesting as well. I might not even make it. This was just accident that I landed on the BBC one. So I'll see if I can make it one that's another, you know, from another that's not BBC basically. Thank you so much, and do what you want with this. Do what thou wilt with this. Take care. Peace.